I always thought the woods behind my grandfather's house were just trees and shadows, nothing more. Every summer, I'd visit, escaping the noisy city for the quiet of the countryside. Grandpa's place was old, creaky, full of strange relics and stories that seemed half forgotten. He'd sit on the porch, rocking slowly, telling me about the hollow, an ancient patch of forest they all avoided. "You don't want to go there," he said once, voice low and serious. "The hollow holds secrets that don't want to be found." At 12, I didn't understand. I thought it was just an old man's tale to scare me into staying close. But that summer, I learned the truth. The first night there, the air was thick with humidity. I lay in bed, the wooden floor creaking beneath me. Suddenly, I heard it, a faint whisper, like a voice carried by the wind. It was just beyond the window, soft enough to make me doubt if I'd really heard it. Curious and foolish, I crept outside, the moon casting long shadows through the trees. The whisper came again, clearer this time. It seemed to be calling my name, Elias. I followed the sound deeper into the forest than I'd ever dared before. The trees closed in around me, their branches like twisted fingers blocking out the stars. The whisper turned into a low chant, echoing around me, growing louder, yet I saw no one. Then I saw it, a faint light flickering between the trees. Drawn by some force I couldn't resist, I moved closer. The light came from an old stone altar, moss-covered and cracked. Around it lay strange symbols etched into the earth, glowing faintly with a pale green hue. The chant grew louder, and I realized it wasn't just one voice, but many, layered and overlapping. I froze. Fear clenched my chest, but my feet stayed rooted to the ground. Suddenly, the ground beneath the altar cracked open, revealing a dark hole, a gateway. From its depths rose shadowy figures, their forms shifting like smoke, faces indistinct but eyes glowing with cold fire. "Why have you come?" a voice echoed from the darkness. I tried to speak, but no words came out. Those who enter the hollow seek what they cannot understand. Some are taken. Some are lost forever. The shadows moved closer, their whispers filling my mind, pulling me toward the abyss. I felt my body weaken, my will slipping. Just as I was about to fall, a voice called out, clear and strong. "Elias! Come back!" It was Grandpa, standing at the edge of the clearing, holding an old lantern. The light cut through the shadows, making them recoil like snakes. With all my strength, I broke free and ran. Branches tore at my clothes and skin, but I didn't stop. I didn't look back until I burst through the tree line into the open field, where Grandpa waited, worry etched on his face. That night, I couldn't sleep. The whispers haunted my dreams, calling me back to the hollow. But Grandpa told me stories, of those who had disappeared, of ancient guardians who protected the forest, and of a pact made centuries ago to keep the darkness contained. Over the following days, strange things happened. Objects moved on their own, shadows flickered in corners, and the whispering returned, this time inside the house. I learned that the hollow wasn't just a place, it was a living memory, a prison for something ancient and restless. One evening, I found an old journal in Grandpa's study. It belonged to his father, my great-grandfather, who had been the last to attempt entering the hollow. His writings spoke of a ritual, a key hidden in the forest, and a warning. The hollow remembers. It waits for the one who bears the mark. The gate will open, and the whispers will become screams. I looked at my hand, there, faint but clear, was a birthmark shaped like a twisted tree branch. Days later, Grandpa disappeared. The only clue was a single whisper carried by the wind, "Elias." I knew the hollow had claimed him, and soon it would come for me. But I also knew I couldn't run forever. The pact was broken. The shadows stirred. Tonight, as I write this, the wind carries the whispers again. The moonlight flickers through my window like ghostly fingers. There's a scratching at the door, soft but deliberate. I hesitate. Because I know what waits outside. And I don't know how much longer I can keep running. The nights that followed Grandpa's disappearance were the longest I'd ever known. The house felt different, colder, quieter, as if the walls were holding their breath. Every time the wind rustled the leaves outside, I thought I heard whispers creeping closer, circling just beyond the edge of hearing. I tried to keep busy, but my mind kept drifting back to the hollow. The mark on my hand seemed to burn with a dull heat, a reminder that whatever darkness waited there hadn't forgotten me. I felt like I was being watched, shadows shifting in the corners of my vision, reflections that didn't match my movements. One evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, I found myself standing at the edge of the forest again. The trail I'd followed before seemed different, like it was waiting for me. I hesitated, every instinct screaming to turn back. But something pulled me forward, a silent command echoing in my mind. The deeper I went, the thicker the air became. The trees whispered secrets in a language I couldn't understand, their branches curling like claws. The ground beneath my feet was soft and damp, covered in fallen leaves and broken twigs. Somewhere far off, I heard the faint sound of chanting, low and rhythmic. Suddenly, I stumbled into a clearing I hadn't seen before. In the center stood an ancient tree, its bark twisted and blackened as if scarred by fire. At its base was a small wooden box, half buried in moss. My heart hammered as I knelt to open it. Inside, wrapped in faded cloth, was a rusted key and a small, folded piece of paper. I unfolded it carefully, the paper brittle with age. Written in shaky handwriting were the words: "The key unlocks the path beyond the veil. To enter is to risk all, but to ignore the call is to fade into nothingness." A sudden cold breeze swept through the clearing, and the chanting grew louder, more urgent. The shadows stretched toward me, creeping over the ground like living smoke. I clutched the key tightly, feeling its weight, both physical and heavy with meaning. I wanted to run, to escape this nightmare. But I couldn't. The forest had me in its grip now. As the sky darkened and the moon rose high, I realized something terrifying: the pact wasn't just broken, it was unraveling. The hollow was waking up, and it was hungry for the one who bore the mark. I had a choice to make: face the darkness and try to seal the gate once more, or disappear like Grandpa, swallowed by the shadows forever. The whispers called again. "Elias." And this time, I knew I had to answer.